Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Happy to have you with us. 11 minutes after 6 o'clock. My apologies to everyone involved. Everybody involved in this show. From those of you listening, for those of you watching, for Ken Weaver, for Jackson, because everything's kind of been higgledy-biggledy up in the air, what with the governor stopping by. I wanted to give maximum time to Governor Bill Lee in our studios, discussing primarily, obviously, the new transit tunnel that was announced this week from B&A Airport downtown Nashville, but also talking a little about transit, generally speaking, the choice lanes and his scholarship proposal that went through this past year. Obviously, that has us off just a little bit, so I beg your indulgence, and I thank you for it. As we make our way towards 7 o'clock. 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. Hey, Jackson, I hate to produce on the radio, but I'll do so. Find out from Weaver, I mean, are we good with nincompoops? Are we no good? I mean, I know Weaver's busy back there. He's got a lot of things going on.
Yes, sir.
You want to do nincompoops in the news?
I'll do nincompoops. I'm going to win it.
Well.
What do you boys think about that?
Well, with that in mind, you know what? We should have done nincompoops with Governor Bill Lee here. I bet Governor Bill Lee seems too nice of a guy to point fingers and name names and call people nincompoops, but I bet there's plenty of nincompoops in his world. Let's do it. Nincompoops in the news time. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's right. It's time. You know what the news is. You've heard from folks like Congressman Tim Burchett and Governor Bill Lee. Now it's time to find those nincompoops. And I can think of no better three to locate them than these three. It's Ken Weaver, it's Jackson Williams, it's Matt Murphy. We each bring a story to the table, and then you tell us who the big nincompoop is. Hey, guess who the big winner was yesterday, Jackson?
Ken Weaver.
Ken Weaver is correct, Jackson.
Yes, sir.
He was the big winner, and that means that Ken Weaver gets to go first.
That means I get to go, and you guys can't steal my story. Because that's what I'm worried about every day now.
Yeah, me too. Because I think we're hunting in the same field. Yeah. I think we're fishing in the same pond, and I worry about it too, kid. I do. All right, go.
All right, this happened last week, boys, in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. A New Smyrna Beach man who told deputies he had drunk just one beer an hour before was arrested after allegedly drifting in the water naked, right in the front of kids. 3 p.m. Sunday, 69-year-old Rufus Qualls was seen by a witness allegedly drifting in the waters at New Smyrna Beach on a blue bodyboard without pants on. The witness told authorities Qualls allegedly got closer to numerous beachgoers, including their 6-year-old grandchild and a young teenage girl. When deputies arrived on the scene, they called Qualls to come to shore, but he just continued to lay in the surf. Deputies had to go into the water and physically remove Qualls, covering his nudity, as he was taken into custody. Qualls, who appeared drunk to the witness, said he had just one beer an hour before the incident and took medication earlier in the morning. Qualls said he arrived at the beach with his acquaintance named Cowboy. Claimed a wave took his pants off after he entered the water with Cowboy. Well, Qualls was arrested, accused of indecent exposure and resisting an officer without violence, and Cowboy rode off into the sunset.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
That wave, man. Those rogue waves, Ken, they'll get you.
Officer, the waves took my pants.
That's right. See, a big old wave hit me and off went my britches.
I mean, just forced my left hand down there to unbuckle them, and the pants went right off. I think Cowboy's got them.
Cowboy is a human?
Yeah, apparently so.
Not a dog or something? It's an actual person.
Well, police say he was an acquaintance of Rufus Qualls.
Rufus. You don't get many good Rufuses nowadays.
No.
Jackson, back in the day, there were a lot of Rufi. A lot of Rufi going around.
Back in my day.
Not so many Rufi anymore. You want to go next there, young Williams?
I'm down.
All right.
Drug-possessing naked man arrested at Mississippi Fossil Park. A drug-possessing naked man was arrested at a fossil park in Mississippi, according to the Prentiss County Sheriff's Department. Deputies received a call on July 25th about a naked man at W.M. Browning Cretaceous Fossil Park in Frankstown, Mississippi. Upon arriving, they found the man in question to be Donald Hatfield, 57, of Boonville. Hatfield was clothed and charged with indecent exposure. The Sheriff's Department also noted that potentially illicit drugs were found in Hatfield's vehicle, which could lead to more charges once results are returned from the crime lab, Sheriff Tolar and Deputy Knight found a felony amount of hydrocodone in the vehicle and a small amount of methamphetamines. His bond is set at $5,000.
Just a small amount of methamphetamine.
Yeah, just a pinch of meth.
A lot of cotton, but just a just a teeny tiny bit of meth. You know, a little meth didn't hurt anybody. What's a little meth amongst friends?
Medicated moment with Donald Hatfield.
There you go. All right, item nincompoop number 3 comes to us from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
I love the Oklahoma nincompoops. I don't know why.
Well, they're a lot like Florida's.
Maybe so. On Tuesday, 2 days after 2 state school board members claimed that they saw nude images of women playing on a television in the state superintendent's office, that would be the office of Ryan Walters. 2 days later, Walters denies any wrongdoing and claimed that investigators had cleared him in the case, falsely. He also accused Governor Stitt, and now the article that I'm referencing assumes that Governor Kevin Stitt, there you go. Governor Kevin Stitt, he accused him of orchestrating the entire thing as a, quote, character assassination, but refused to answer reporters' questions, seeking clarity and evidence to back up his claims. Here's the bottom line. Walters made the comments during a press conference just outside of Governor Kevin Stitt's office Tuesday afternoon, where he accused the governor and his appointed board members of political sabotage.
Sabotage.
These board members decided to construct a lie to destroy my character, Walters said. Lies will have consequences. Walters called the press conference after Oklahoma State School Board members Ryan Detheridge and Becky Carson told the Oklahoman last week that they saw nude images of women playing on a television inside of Walters' office during a board meeting this past Thursday. They said they immediately confronted Walters, who looked at the screen, scrambled for a remote, and turned the television off without acknowledging what had appeared on it. Governor Stitt appointed both Detheridge and Carson to the board earlier this year amid a falling out with Walters. On Friday, the Oklahoma Office of Management and Enterprise Services opened an investigation. That would be the OMES. News 4 reported that the OMES asked an Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office to begin a criminal investigation. They said that it was too early to jump to conclusions. We're aware of what has been said to the media, but obviously we have to do our due diligence to speak with those witnesses that are involved. 24 hours later, Walters claimed that investigators had already cleared him. We've had our name cleared by both the OMES and the Sheriff's Office, said Walters. Nothing scandalous that I was a part of whatsoever. However, less than 24 hours after he made that claim, both offices, the Sheriff's Office and the OMES, said, no, he's not cleared. That's simply not the case. The investigation is still ongoing. What I'm saddest about on this nincompoop stories, man, is that they don't really tell us what those 2 women were doing up on the TV.
Cooking.
Playing volleyball, weren't they?
Jumping on trampolines? Maybe. I don't know.
I thought you said they were playing volleyball.
I don't know what they were doing, but apparently they were doing it with no clothes on. So I'm proud to note that Murphy's nincompoop story has nudity involved in it as well, but not nudity of the nincompoop. The nincompoop in this story would be none other than Superintendent Walters himself, who had naked folk on his TV, turned it off, and then said, nope, there weren't no naked folk on there. This is a political hatchet job.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. Now get.
Get. Go on. There you go. Vote Ken, vote Jackson, or vote correctly. It's the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk. Okay, there's one. I always look for a Jackson vote because I feel bad for you when you don't get any, friend. But I found one.
Got none?
You got one. Who was it? Chris has written, and it says Jackson. Murphy, Ken, Matt, Ken. There's several suggestions as to what the 2 ladies were doing on the TV.
How many of them are arable?
Is eating tacos arable?
Oh, God, Murphy.
What? I don't know what that means. And no, I'm not saying that one.
Let's just not say things we don't know the meaning of in regards to the naked women, please.
I'm gonna whisper it in your ear, and you tell me if I can say it or not.
No, you can't say that.
I can't say that?
Actually, I mean, technically the words aren't.
I can say each word, but it's probably not a good idea.
Just don't look it up on YouTube.
It's probably not. No, do not. Do not.
Not on the work computer.
On any computer, you're not to look that up. On any computer.
Unless you're the superintendent of Oklahoma.
Apparently, he's just fine. So it looks like it's between, look, 2805 says score one for Jackson. That's good. Matt's second place. Florida guy was a hapless tsunami victim. Yes, Mandis, they're real. Fossil guy was just hoping to be a fossil someone was hunting for. Ergo, Matt's superintendent is, in fact, the nincompoop. I like the way this fella's thinking. I do. Hey, you want to guess Today in History? I got two things for you on Today in History. And one, I'm going to ask for audience participation, okay? And I'm going to do it after the break, after the bottom of the hour newscast with Ken Weaver. There are two important things, in my opinion. I'm sure there's more than two, but two that caught my notice. We don't do Today in History very often, but one is associated with one of the greatest films ever laid down, and the other involves one of the greatest mysteries never solved in American history. But for now, by popular demand, there have actually been several people that wanted to know what this next caller thought about the governor's appearance on the Matt Murphy Show. Believe it or not, Mike, people want to know what you thought about my interview with Governor Bill Lee. That's how famous you're becoming on the Matt Murphy Show, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that. Why don't you go to the next table, bend over, and get greased? In other words, this whole thing is a massive scam. And then I pulled up on the T-Dot and said that what we're going to have to do, because you said, not me, you said, we're going to get all these people off of I-40. Where are they going to go? I asked you that. So I pulled up T-Dot. They're showing a massive, massive reconstruction of Donaldson Pike and I-40 that will take years and years to divert all that traffic to the airport so they can get on the tunnel to go downtown. And so what I'm saying is, Matt, that
none of those
you're
cars
just being taken advantage of.
Gosh,
you
Mike.
got the governor on.
Gosh.
You didn't let anybody ask the governor a question. You've been greased.
What question would you have asked the governor had you had the ability, Mike? Go.
Who's paying for this? Who's paying for the outlying costs?
What
of this
outlying
new
cost?
TDAP program?
What outlying cost?
The new TDAP program.
What are you
that
talking
says
about?
that Donaldson Pike, and the airport, that's where they're connected from I-40. Who's paying for that
Mike,
new complete
Mike,
reconstruction?
Mike, I have that interchange is already open.
It's going to have to be reconstructed.
No. That interchange that you're talking about
it's going to be reconstructed to handle the thousands of vehicles.
I wish you would listen.
You say is going to come off I-40.
No,
but the governor says.
Mike, gosh.
The governor says that all those vehicles are going to come off I-40 and go into the interchange at Donaldson Pike and I-40 to the airport so they can get on this new tunnel.
No, Mike, listen. Mike,
downtown.
Stop for a second. Listen, I'm just trying to help you, buddy. And it's a fool's errand, and I'm just probably going to stop taking your calls because you will not listen and process information with the brain that God gave you. But I'm going to try one more time.
Mike,
hold on. Let me say that
the governor come on and grease you.
Mike, let me say this to you, Mike, because you are either not listening or too dumb enough to understand this. Ready?
Now I'm done.
Mike, listen. No private vehicles are going to go on this tunnel. None. Zero.
Well, then where do the private vehicles go? T-Dot says on their own website, we're going to have to change the Donaldson airport site, the Donaldson I-40. We're going to have to transfer those vehicles. Well, who's paying for that?
The Donaldson Pike Interchange project has nothing to do with the boring tunnel.
Exactly. So So
Okay,
if
all right, I'm done. I'm just done. I mean, I try to take everybody. I try to do it. I don't try to overtalk people, but Mike kept saying there that where are all these private cars going to go when they get off the tunnel, and when they get on the tunnel, how are they going to do all of that? There's no private vehicles going on this tunnel. You will not be able to drive your vehicle on the tunnel. The tunnel will operate Tesla vehicles that will act like a cab or an Uber, and you'll pay a flat rate to go from B&A Airport. These will primarily take tourists or convention goers, people coming into the city that need to get downtown, people that fly into B&A Airport by the hundreds, by the thousands every day, take cabs and Ubers and what's the other one? Lyft, and any other rideshare service. They take those vehicles from the airport and they get on the interstate and they go downtown. The idea is that by the thousands, these people will take the tunnel as opposed to getting on the interstates, and by extension, they will alleviate traffic on the interstate. Mike, I love you, buddy. We're going to need to take a break for a few days and maybe reset next week. God love you. I hope you understand why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. It's 33 after the hour. We're talking 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being around. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for watching the show, if that's what you're doing on the Super Talk television side of things, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Lively debate always on the YouTube chat. I'm getting called a bootlicker, Jackson. That's okay. I mean, I understand there are some that do not like Bill Lee, and I understand that some of that predates me. Some suggested that he was a failure during the COVID-19 deal, and I mean, I fully understand that. And frankly, this is the United States of America, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. So for those of you that don't care for Governor Lee, you probably listened to the interview and didn't like the way that I was conducting it because I was nice to him. That's fine. That's fair. That's perfectly fair. And I accept that. But I challenge you to tell me what's wrong with this project in as much as it does not cost the state of Tennessee any money. And you can say, well, it's not going to work. Okay, that's fine. But if it does work, man, it'll be pretty cool. But anyway, if you're listening or watching on Super Talk TV, thank you for doing so. Perhaps you are listening on 99.7 FM. Perhaps you're over on the Super Text line, or you're dialing us up on the phone lines. We appreciate you. A lot of reaction to our good friend Mike. We're taking a Mike break. I know you love Mike, Jackson.
He just gets your goat. I love it.
He wears me out.
It's so funny.
You see me in here, and I'm pulling my hair out, and thankfully I got enough hair to pull out. But
next time he calls in, I might put myself on camera so people can see my live reaction to him getting you.
You love it.
Oh, I'm back here cackling.
You adore it. Now, the big question on the lips of those on the Super Text line, is Mike real? Is Mike fake? Is Mike real? Is Mike phony? I think Mike's real as the day is long. I mean,
he's a real human being.
I mean, we don't set him up to tell him what to say. He says what he wants.
No, he calls me every day and has something to say to Matt.
Yeah. And, sometimes it makes a modicum of sense. More often than not, it does not. And there it is. So, official, Jackson, because you and I compromised during the break. I said, I can't deal with him. He can't come back till Monday.
No Mike tomorrow.
I said no Mike until next week. Jackson said, come on, Murphy. You can't advertise a First Amendment Freestyle Friday and then go against the spirit of the thing. I said, okay, fine. Friday,
the return of Mike.
No Mike tomorrow. Mike's revenge on Friday. All right. Mike is...
Mike, I fought for you, buddy.
I'm sure Mike appreciates that. Matt Murphy, whatever happened to Mr. Jimmy? We heard from Mr. Jimmy the other day. Mr. Jimmy is a great listener to the show, older gentleman that lives down in Shelbyville, and he's still down there. He called us the other day. Seems to be doing all right. For a fellow his age, has some the best stories about Memphis, Tennessee, and growing up in Memphis. Going out and hanging out with Elvis Presley. I mean, he's got legit stories about hanging out with Elvis Presley. This guy.
How old is Mr. Jimmy?
Mr. Jimmy, I think he told me he was 86.
Oh.
Maybe 87. He's up there. So thank you for those asking about Mr. Jimmy. Today is the anniversary of a pretty special event. Well, I say special, a pretty tragic event in American history that most of you would not know about were it not for one of my favorite feature films. That's right. On this day in 1945, 80 years ago, this happened.
Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief. He was coming back from the island of Tinian to Leyte, just delivered the bomb, the Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes.
Oh, I could play the whole thing and probably would if I were a mind to, but that is the great Robert Shaw and the fabulous feature film Jaws. That USS Indianapolis speech really, I don't know that I fashioned myself a student of history. I don't know that I would know anything about the USS Indianapolis were it not for that moment in Jaws. Have you seen the fabulous feature film Jaws there?
I have seen Jaws. Good movie.
Oh, man, that's a compliment coming from you. I mean, it's more of an old, I mean, it's a classic thriller.
We watched it in high school, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
There's some cursing in Jaws.
Yeah.
Get away with
Had to
it.
cover my little ears.
On July 30th, 1945, that would be 80 years ago, the USS Indianapolis was torpedoed by a Japanese submarine. What you have heard in the movie is largely correct. Robert Shaw, now I'll give you a blend of historical fact and what happened in the movie. There were many different versions of that speech, and the last version that they gave Shaw was way longer than that. It was like 3 or 4 minutes longer. And he said, "Can I get this more manageable?" And they said, "Sure, you can rewrite it." Steven Spielberg and the writers. And so he did. Robert Shaw was a drinking man, drank a lot. And he came onto set thinking this was a moment in the movie where Quint, the character, would have been drinking anyway. And he came onto the set and he was pretty loose.
A little toasty.
He was toasted. So much so that he could not get through the speech. It embarrassed him. And when he woke up the next day, he went to Spielberg, young Spielberg, and his fellow co-stars, more Scheider than Dreyfuss, because Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw did not get along at all. And he begged their forgiveness and told Spielberg that it wouldn't happen again. And then he commenced to nailing the speech. And I think there were 3 cuts in the speech, and he nailed the speech, each part in one cut. The speech is largely accurate in that of the 1,196 men on board the USS Indianapolis, only 316 of those men survived. The Indianapolis had completed its mission, delivery of the components of the atomic bomb that would be dropped a week later on Hiroshima. The Indianapolis made its delivery on July 26th, 1945. The mission was top secret. The crew of the Indianapolis did not know what they were carrying on board. After leaving the island, the Indianapolis set sail to the U.S. military Pacific headquarters in Guam, given orders to meet the battleship USS Idaho, to prepare for the invasion of Japan. The belief is that the American forces would have to descend on Japan after the dropping of the Hiroshima bomb and actually go into island, go on the mainland of Japan. Shortly after midnight, however, on July 30th, halfway between Guam and the Gulf of Leyte, a Japanese submarine blasted the Indianapolis, sparked an explosion, split the ship in half. It sank in less than 10 minutes. With about 300 men trapped inside, another 900 or so went into the water. Many died from drowning, and those that did not died from shark attack, injuries from the explosion, and dehydration. Help, as Quint said, did not arrive for days because their mission was so secret that no distress signal was sent. It was 4 days later, on August 2nd, when an anti-submarine plane on routine patrol happened to see the men in the water and radioed for assistance. Of course, on August 6th, the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, inflicting nearly 130,000 casualties and destroying more than 60% of the city. And then on August 9th, a second atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, casualties estimated at about 66,000. The U.S. government kept quiet about the Indianapolis tragedy until August 15th in order to guarantee that the news would be overshadowed by President Harry Truman's announcement that Japan had, in fact, surrendered, which they had done days earlier. And as Quint would say, anyway, July 30th, 1945, we delivered the bomb. Do you know the name Jimmy Hoffa?
Yes. Sounds familiar.
Probably one of the greatest mysteries in American history is, and I think we are safe to assume we know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, but for those who do not know, it was 50 years ago, 80 years ago today, the Indianapolis happened. 50 years ago today, Jimmy Hoffa was a Teamsters president. He was an incredibly influential union boss. He was tied up with the mafia all across the United States of America. You kind of had to be if you were going to be a union boss at that time. And 50 years ago today in Michigan, Jimmy Hoffa left a restaurant. I forget what the name of the restaurant was. Marcus's, I think. He left a restaurant and was waiting on a ride to meet a couple of union folks. And he got a ride of a different sort. He disappeared outside of that restaurant and was never to be seen again. An incredibly influential man that just went missing without a trace 50 years ago today. It's been reported that Jimmy Hoffa was picked up by two mob members. There were several folks involved in the Teamsters that did not want Jimmy Hoffa to be president again, and he was running for president of the Teamsters. Those folks hooked up with Detroit mobsters and decided that they were going to take Hoffa out, and so they did. And they apparently killed him at a private residence and then dispatched of his body in a junkyard facility in such a way where he would never be found again.
Did they find him?
No, Jimmy Hoffa was never found, and no known whereabouts of his body, and nothing definitive has ever come out about exactly what happened to him that day. And for him to be as prominent a figure as he was, that is quite the mystery that happened 50 years ago today. Final timeout. We'll be back in a moment and wrap things up on The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A few more moments before we'll say goodbye. Ronnie's on the line, wants to talk about the USS Indianapolis. Hello, Ronnie.
Hey, Matt, I just want to tell you, last time you talked about this discussion, time run out and I wasn't able to tell you, but there's a book on Amazon by a guy named Edgar Harrell. It's about 11 and a half, 12 bucks. The guy lived down around Dover and Barkley Lake, Tennessee, in West Tennessee. He was on the Indianapolis.
Oh, wow.
And he lived it, and he could tell you the whole story about it, but he just recently died.
Oh, wow.
And it was his son or his son-in-law, but that young man took the words of Edgar and put them in a book. And Edgar went around churches and gave sermons about the whole story and everything. And it's not a very long book. I bet it ain't probably not even a half-inch thick.
What's it called?
But,
do you remember?
Out of the Depth.
Oh,
And I mean, there's many books on the internet about that story, but I was always intrigued and fascinated with war stories and growing up. And I've read this about 3 times, and I'll probably read it again now that you're talking about it again. But it will give you minute by minute in his words exactly what happened. And it's a kind of, books are always better than movies because if it's a good book, you don't want to set it down. Well, that's the way this book is. And it will give you minute by minute detail what happened on that fateful night.
Well, Edgar Harrell.
Edgar Harrell, yes, sir.
Yeah, I've already ordered it. As you were talking, Ronnie, I ordered it through Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's like $11. It's I don't know. It might be 160, 200 pages, something like that. But it don't take no time to read it. If you're a fast reader, you can read it in a couple of days and just cry, because of the way the man put the words in writing.
Yeah,
it's really a fascinating story. I come about it back in 1970. What was it, 4? I think the Jaws came out. That's when I came about the story, and I was just always fascinated with it. So later on, I read bits and pieces, but then what's his name just died on y'all's radio show. What's his name? Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil Valentine.
He was talking about this guy, and had an interview with him, if I remember correctly, on radio. And that's when I said, I've got to get that book and read it. So if you just got a few minutes of your time and you really want to read something that'll touch your heart,
I got it.
I encourage you to buy that book.
I just did. Thank you, Ronnie. As Ronnie was talking, I looked it up on Amazon, and I've got that account ready to go, and it says it'll be here tomorrow, which is pretty fascinating in and of itself. Looking forward to that. Yeah, it is a heartbreaking story, how many of those soldiers, or seamen, I should say, died. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate every single one of you, even if y'all think I'm a bootlicker. I appreciate you. We're back tomorrow for a Thursday edition. Until next time, Mark Levin's up next. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.